Hello students. So today we will do thermodynamics question part 2. So in today's class the main focus will be on questions. So there will be questions from 9 to 16 that constitutes a total of 8 questions. So we will see those questions and we will also look at the explanation. There will be some time for each question for you to solve. So you will be approximately given 10 seconds and within that time frame you have to solve the question. Okay. So disclaimer disclaimer: the images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creator and owners of these images. If you are the owner of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Right. So, question number 9. Question number 9 says that latent heat of vaporization of a liquid at 500 Kelvin and 1 atm pressure is 10 kilocalorie per mole. Okay. What will be the change in internal energy of 3 moles of liquid at same temperature? Options are A 3 kilocalorie, B minus 54 kilocalorie, C 27.0 kilocalorie, and D 50 kilocalories. So the question is asked that what is the internal energy change if your latent heat of vaporization is already given. Okay, so this thing is asked for vaporization basically. You have to calculate delta U and your moles are also given. So very easy question to solve. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Let us see how we can solve it. Again, I am repeating the question. So what is being said that your latent heat of vaporization. So what is this latent heat of vaporization? So it is the amount of heat that you have to provide, uh, which will convert your liquid to the gaseous phase, right? So when you do the transition, the temperature does not changes for some time. Okay, it is just below that, and it will not increase 1 degree also until and unless your all of your liquid is converted into gas. Till that temperature, it will not change. So that amount of heat is being latent when it is hidden there in the liquid, and you have to change. Means it is absorbed by the liquid, so it is written as latent heat of vaporization. So that thing is given. Okay, now you have to see the internal energy change for 3 mole. So first of all, for those who have solved, the correct answer is C. Now we know that delta H is equals to delta U plus delta NgRT. Now this all of this is happening at the constant pressure. So therefore, your delta H will be 30 kilocalorie per mole for 3 moles. So what I am saying is that the vaporization that we see must be occurring at constant pressure, which is 1 atm. It is written here also. So at constant pressure, your heat that is being given here is equals to the enthalpy change. But this is given for 1 mole. This kilocalorie, 10 kilocalories for 1 mole. So we will find it for 3 moles. So we multiply it by 3. That will give it 30 kilocalorie. Your delta H will be 30 kilocalorie. Delta U we have to calculate, and delta NgRT is what? Change in number of gaseous molecules. Now, initially there were no gaseous molecules before vaporization. After vaporization, all these 3 moles of liquid will be converted into gas. So your equation will be like this: that 3 moles of liquid gaseous is going to 3 moles of liquid is going to 3 moles of gaseous. So the final minus initial, that will give you 3 minus 0, because 0 is for the reactant side, as there are no gaseous molecule on the reactant side, and we are calculating the change in number of gaseous molecules. Now putting all of this, you will get, yeah, the same thing is written here also, because we are going from liquid to vapor, so the number of reactant gaseous molecule is 0. Okay, anyways, putting all of these values here, so we have taken 500 Kelvin, right? We have converted this into multiplied it by 10 to the power minus 3, so that we can get the value of this delta NgRT in terms of kilocalorie. Okay, because this thing is in kilocalorie, so we want it in kilocalorie, right? And this is also in kilocalorie. Why? Because we have multiplied this kilocalorie per mole with mole. that is 3 moles, that has given us 30 kilocalorie. So mole has been cut off. So this thing should also have a unit of kilocalorie. So we have multiplied this calorie by 10 to the power minus 3 to get it in kilocalorie. Now 3 into 2 into 10, 500 to 10 to the power minus 3. So 2 is the value of R, which is 2 kilocalorie per, 2 calorie per mole per Kelvin. Okay, so that will give you delta U is equals to 27 kilocalorie as your answer. Clear? So this question is easy to solve. The only mistake that you can make is that you won't be able to know that this formula is to be applied, first of all. Second thing, I would say that you should be able to analyze that, okay, this is all of this is occurring at constant pressure, so your Q is equals to delta H because QP is equals to delta H. And the third thing that you should be able to determine is that delta Ng, that since there is no gaseous reactant molecule on the reactant side, therefore on a product side it is 3. Okay, so these three things I would say is important in this question to be known. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 10. Question number 10 says that your delta H minus delta U for the formation of carbon monoxide from its elements at 298 Kelvin is, your value of R is given. Options are A minus 2477 minus 0.57 joule per mole. Option B 2477.57 joule per mole. Option C minus 1238 means 1238.78 joule per mole. Option D 1238.78 joule per mole. So four values are given. Now you have to find the value of delta H minus delta U. Okay, so you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Now let us see the solution. So first of all, this delta H minus delta U equals to what? So we have seen the formula. Must have seen the formula multiple times. Delta H is equals to delta U plus delta NGRT. So that simple formula is to be applied here. Now this is talking about the formation of carbon monoxide. So that should be known to you, that how this formation equation should be written. Okay, and it is occurring at constant temperature. This should be also be in your mind. So correct answer is D, first of all. Now this is your equation for the formation. So this you must know. If you don't know this, then the problem arises. Now how we will calculate delta Ng? So here we have what we have done. So we have, this is about the formation of carbon monoxide. So we will take each and every element in the standard state. So this is in the solid state, this is in the gaseous state, and that will give you CO gaseous. Now what is the change of number of gaseous molecules? So it is 1, here it is half. So 1 minus half is equals to 1. Clear? We have not taken this because it is not in the gaseous form. Okay, now as I have told you, we will use delta H is equals to delta U plus NGRT. We bring this delta U on this side, so that gives our delta H minus delta U is equals to delta NGRT. Clear? So if you put all of this, so half R into T, this will give you 1238.78 joule per mole. So a simple question. So the only thing you should remember is that you should know this equation. Okay, now some of you will ask that we are doing this calculation at constant temperature, then why are we not getting the value of delta U as 0 or delta H as 0? Because this delta H and delta U becomes 0 at constant temperature if the work or if the process that is being under analysis is only pressure volume work. But this is not the case here. Okay, because this involves the transformation from this to this. Now there is much more changes other than pressure and volume, including the substance that we are dealing with has changed. So it's vibrational, internal, everything will change, because internal energy is the sum of every energy that we know that is present inside a molecule, right? For that reason, we cannot say that since it is occurring at a constant temperature, so it will be 0. So this should be in your mind. Okay, so in this way you will solve this question number 10. Now your correct answer will be D. We have discussed how to solve it. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 11. Question number 11 says that consider the reaction N2 plus 3H2 2NH3 carried out at constant temperature and pressure. If delta H and delta U are the enthalpy and internal energy changes for the equation reaction, which of the following expression is true? Options are A. Delta H is greater than delta U. Option B. Delta H is less than delta U. C. Delta H is equals to delta U. And D. Delta H is equals to 0. So how will find it? So you will for if I give you a hint, then I would say that you should use the formula, which is delta H is equals to delta U plus delta NGRT. You will use this formula, you will simply get your answer. Very easy to solve. One more thing, you should be aware about the states of each of this. Okay, so if you don't know, it is gaseous, gaseous, and gaseous. These three are the gaseous state, is in the gaseous state. Okay. Anyways, you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Now let us see how can solve it. So we are being asked the internal energy. Okay, we have been asked that if delta H is equal to delta U, if delta H and delta U are the enthalpy change and inter energy change, then you have to see that what is the comparison between these two for these equation in which all of these are three in the gaseous state. So for those who have solved, the correct answer is B. How can we solve it? Again, we are using this relationship, which is delta H and delta U relationship, that gives us delta H plus delta U. Delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT, where delta Ng is the change in number of gaseous molecules. Now, if you want to derive this formula, very simple. You know that delta H is equal to delta U plus delta PV. Put P instead of PV, put the nRT. And since this and this are constant, we are doing this at constant temperature, and R is already a constant, so we are only considering the change in the number of gaseous molecules. So since this delta is the enthalpy change or heat supplied at constant pressure, this delta U is the internal energy change or heat supplied at constant volume. Okay, so delta Ng will be what? Delta Ng will be number of gaseous product minus number of gaseous reactants. So how we will find it? So it will be simply 2 minus 4. For these two it will be 4, for it will be 2. Because all three are in the gaseous form. So for the reaction, so see we have mentioned the states here. Our delta Ng will be minus 2. Okay, so delta H will be delta U minus 2RT, or delta H is less than delta U. How we have said that? Because this value comes, delta H minus delta U comes out to be minus 2RT. Temperature can never be negative in terms of Kelvin, and R is always positive, that is 8.314. So for that reason, our only value, the sign of your whole term will depend upon this change in number of gaseous molecule, and since it is negative, therefore your delta H minus delta U will be negative. And if delta H minus delta U is negative, that means delta U is greater than delta H. Okay, and if this is the case, then the numerical value of delta H is less than delta U in exothermic reaction, and when delta Ng is less than 0. It is mentioned here also, since delta Ng is less than 0, therefore this value is negative. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 12. Question number 12 says that the combustion of benzene, which is in liquid form, gives us CO2 gaseous and H2O liquid. So state is mentioned. Given that heat of combustion of benzene at constant volume is minus 3263.9 kilojoule per mole at 25 degrees Celsius, heat of combustion in kilojoule per mole of benzene at constant pressure will be, R value is given. Okay, options are A 4152.6, then next minus 452.46, C 3260, D minus 3267.6. So what is the question? The question is saying that if you just combust this benzene, it will give you CO2 gaseous and H2O liquid, and you are given the heat of combustion at constant volume. Your value is given. Okay, now the heat of combustion at constant pressure is to be determined. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, let us see how we can solve it. So again I am repeating the question. So your heat of combustion at constant volume is given, that is your delta uh, vu is given, and your delta h is to be determined because it is asking at constant pressure. So how we should proceed? So first of all, those who have solved, the correct answer is D. So we will proceed by using this formula, right? So we know it very well that at constant pressure, the heat supplied is equals to the delta H, or the heat gained is equals to the delta H. Delta U is for constant volume, and delta Ng is for change in number of gaseous molecule. R is your gas constant, and T is your temperature. Now next, so we are writing the equation here. So for the combustion of benzene, we are doing in terms of oxygen. Combustion is always in the presence of oxygen. So therefore this equation becomes like this. So you need to balance this. Okay, so see, all of these things are balanced. 2 multiplied by 2, that will 2 and 2 will cut off, that will remain 15 moles of oxygen. Here also 6 to the 12 plus 3 15, and 6 moles of hydrogen. Here also 6 moles of hydrogen, 6 moles of carbon, and 6 moles of carbon. Now how to balance it is also a question. Okay, so sometimes people do mistakes. So first you balance the carbon. You have balanced the carbon. Okay, well and good. Now balance the hydrogen using this. Okay, so you balance the hydrogen, that is 3 to the 6. Now count the number of total number of oxygen molecules. 6 to the 12, 3. Yeah, so this 3 plus 6, 12 gives you 15. Now multiply these term by half of this, 15 by 2. Okay, that will give you the oxygen. So as simple as that. Follow these 3 steps, you can balance any equation of hydrocarbon conversion. So change in number of gaseous molecules will be what? It will be 6 minus 15 by 2. So 6 here and 15 by 2 here. This and this are in liquid state. So that will give you minus 3 by 2 or 1.5. Now we have the delta Ng. Now the other values are given in the question. So delta U is given and temperature is given. So we convert this into Kelvin, that will give you 298 Kelvin. Now putting all these things back in the main equation. So R value is also known. So if you just put all these values, you will get this type of equation. Delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT. Okay, so that will give you this much. So why we have multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3, so that we can get your answer in kilojoule. And also this term is already in kilojoule. So if you have to do the calculation, you should also keep this in kilojoule per mole. Clear? Okay. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 13. Question number 13 says that heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree Celsius called. So very easy, very theoretical question. Your options are A, specific heat, B, molar heat capacity, C, water equivalent, and D, specific gravity. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, let us see how we can solve it. So what we have to do is simply know the definition, that what definition says that to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree Celsius is called as what? So this is answer is B. So this is nothing but a molar heat capacity. So when we say heat capacity, then it is the amount of heat that we have to supply to raise the temperature of a given substance by 1 degree Celsius. And when we define it for 1 mole, then we say it as molar heat capacity. Very easy. So your formula will become this, that your heat supplied to change the temperature by 1 degree. So this is of heat capacity. If you are defining it for molar, then divide this whole term by number of moles, that will give you molar heat capacity. Now moving on to the next question. Question number 14. Question number 14 says that the molar heat capacity of water at constant pressure is 75 joule per Kelvin per mole. Now when 1 kilojoule of heat is supplied to 100 gram of water, which is free to expand, the increase in temperature of water is. Options are A 1.2 Kelvin, B 2.4 Kelvin, C 4.8 Kelvin, and D 6.8 Kelvin. So your molar heat capacity is given. Okay, your amount of heat supplied is also given, and your mass of water is also given. Now you have to find the delta T. Simple. So I'm giving you a hint. You will use the molar heat capacity formula, and you will get, first of all, calculate the number of moles for this, and accordingly you will solve. Okay, so this much hint is more than enough to solve this question. You have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see how we can solve it. So as already mentioned, your molar heat capacity, that is your heat capacity for per mole is given, and your heat is given in kilojoule. Okay, just don't make mistake of this for unit. Be aware of this unit always. And your amount of water is given, so you will convert this into number of moles, and you have to find the increase in temperature. How you will do? So the correct answer is B for those who have solved. So we know this formula that Q is equals to mc delta T, where m is what? Where m is the number of this is your this is your C heat capacity formula. Okay, so the m is the number of moles, that is 100 by 18. We have supplied amount of heat is 1 kilojoule, so we have converted into joule, that is 1000 joule, and your C is given. Your molar heat capacity is given 75. Okay, so you can write it cm also, that would be more appropriate. So cm delta T is to be calculated. If you put all of this, you will get delta T is equals to 2.4 Kelvin as a correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Question number 15. Question number 15 says that for 2 moles of an ideal gas, your options are A, Cp minus Cv equals to 2R, Cp minus Cv equals to 0, Cp minus Cv equals to R, D, Cp minus Cv equals to R by 2. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. The only hint which I would give is you should know the formula between relation between Cp minus Cv, and you have to consider the number of moles also. So that thing if you remember, you are good enough to solve this. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Let us see how we can solve it. So again, this is a very simple question. We have to find the Cp minus Cv relation for 2 moles of gas. So for those who have solved it, the correct answer is A. So you know the formula Cp minus Cv equals to Nr, where N is what? Your N is number of moles. So since your number of moles is 2, therefore Cp minus Cv is equals to 2R. So very easy question to solve. You just have to remember that Cp minus Cv is not equals to R, but the correct formula would be Cp minus Cv should be equals to Nr. So this you should remember, then you are able to solve it easily. Moving on to the next question. So last question of this session, question number 16. Question number 16 says that your heat of sublimation of iodine is 24 calorie per gram at 50 degrees Celsius. If the specific heat of solid iodine and its vapor is 0.05 and 0.03 calorie per gram per Kelvin, the heat of sublimation of iodine at 100 degrees Celsius is. Your options are A, 22.8 calorie per gram, B, 25.2 calorie per gram. Okay, and then we have minus 22.8 calorie per gram C and minus 25.2 calorie per gram. So what is being given here is that your heat of sublimation is mentioned, and that thing is mentioned at 50 degrees Celsius, right? And what are the things that are mentioned other than that? Other than that, you are given the specific heat of solid iodine. So specific heat is given for solid and its vapor both. Okay, and your heat of sublimation is to be calculated at 100 degrees Celsius. So this thing will go on like this, that first you will sublime the substance, the given substance to at 50 degrees Celsius, and then what you will do, they will raise the temperature from 50 to 100. That will do your work. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, let us see how we can solve it. So again, I am repeating the question, that your heat of sublimation is given. Now this is for per gram. So this is heat of sublimation for per gram, and its specific heat of iodine, solid and vapor are given. So let us see, the correct answer is A. So using the Kirchhoff equation, we say that delta Cp is equals to delta H2 minus delta H1 by T2 minus T1. So just rearranging this gives you this. Now delta H2 minus delta H1. So delta H1 is 24. Okay, your delta Cp will be how much? So this will be subtracted. So 0.031 minus 0.055, and your delta T is 100 minus 50, 50, or 373 minus 323. You don't have to convert. If you want, you can do both of them will give you the 50 value only. The difference will be 50 value in case of degree Celsius and Kelvin, either of them. Now that will give you delta H2 as 22.8 kilo calorie per gram. Okay, so this was for today's session. With this, I will end this session. Thank you.